Welcome to the Bridgeside Network, guys. I'm Mr. Bridgeside, aka Poliatzis. That's my real name. That's Stephen James over there in the box. Stephen, who are you and where do you come from?
I'm originally from Brooklyn, currently living in New Jersey. I'm a professional broadcaster, the play-by-play announcer for Capital Wrestling, as well as the host of the Hivemind Radio program, which you can catch every Monday on twitch.tv/HM Radio, 9 a.m. through 11 a.m.
Oh, you get the plug in right away.
No,
make quick work at this baby. Love it.
There you go.
So Steve, we're talking creative, staying creative in quarantine. Everyone's going through different experiences. Some people aren't working. Some people are working from home. Some people have always worked from home or now are just home with everyone else joining in that sense, right? Steve, I know that I work a lot from home and I'm always trying to be creative wherever I am, and it's hard sometimes, right? So it's hard, especially when you're going crazy because you don't have the option of going out. But just wanted to talk with everyone and see where everyone's at, give some tips that I probably should listen to myself, but that we know is good sound advice, and want to hear from you. What are you doing to stay creative? We've had a couple of people respond with what they're doing. Respond in the comments and we'll bring it up. We'll talk about it. We're going to do community live streams every Monday at 7 o'clock or 7:15 if we're having problems with Zoom. But yeah, guys, chime in. Steve, what are you doing to stay creative in this time?
Thankfully, when it comes to Capital Wrestling right now, since our business is live event based. Right now, we're really taking a beating with that. So we've come up with other ways to stay creative and keep our product and our brand out there on Fight Team. So coming up with different packages that are highlighting certain talent is what we're doing. So I have a lot of voiceover work that I have to do for that, and copywriting and stuff like that. So staying creative in that lane as far as how I'm writing and how I use my voice as an instrument and how I tell stories. That's really the main crux of everything that I've been doing, plus the radio show, producing, editing elements, things of that nature. I'm taking on more projects now being home than anything else.
Because you've now had to learn more stuff. You've had the time to kind of delve in, because I know you, so you're doing more After Effects and more Final Cut and stuff that you wouldn't love doing, but you have no option right now.
I am completely different than most people. I cannot stand video editing, and I love audio editing. Most people like video editing. It's something you see instant results. For me, I cannot stand video editing, but in today's climate, in today's business climate, in today's creative climate, you have to have visuals in order for your brand to pop and to be successful. So I can edit. It's just, it never looks, and maybe this is the perfectionist in a lot of us, and maybe you guys at home struggle with this. It never comes out the way I envision it in my mind's eye. So there's a lot of that frustration that day.
I think we lost you. I think we lost you for a second. Can you repeat that?
You lost me? Oh, that was a good spiel right there.
I know. At least I can hear. I don't know if people watching live at Hobra. You did it, man. What's up? Welcome back on Twitch. Yeah, guys, we're on Twitch, Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube. So we have this message board where you'll see what everyone's saying from all platforms. But Steve, I'm sorry. Can you just repeat that last thing? Might have dipped out.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's been frustrating to have to learn how to edit. It's been dragged kicking and screaming into it, seeing as I can do it, I just don't like to do it. Maybe it's the perfectionist in me. I was saying that it never comes out with video as I see it in my mind's eye. So the frustration of getting over that frustration is something that this quarantine has helped me be forced to do.
Yeah, it's kind of, for me personally, it's kind of like forced me to do things that I've said I was going to do for a while, or that I wanted to just tackle something on the list. Thank you, Rob D, for the comment.
Yeah,
and we'll get to that in actual.
That Brooklyn Versus theme is a banger.
Yeah, man, you like that, right? Wait, is it still playing? Oh, crap. Is it good background noise? I don't know. It probably gets tiring from the loop. I'm not actually hearing the output feed, but there we go. Okay. It's out. Well, Maybe it worked then. Who knows? But Steve, so you said you've learned, kind of forced to learn stuff, right? Do you think? So you're taking the silver linings, I guess, right? So what are the negative sides other than not being able to go out? Like, things you've had to overcome. Other than the positive. We'll get to both a little more.
That's the major negative for sure. Is I know from working with you and working with other people, being in the same room with someone and talking with them and hashing out ideas and being able to, I talk with my hands, I connect with people. If you can't do it's harder to get the creative juices flowing for me when there's not a person in front of me talking and exchanging ideas. You feel more relaxed with a person, especially if it's someone you're not already comfortable with. I'm comfortable creating with you because I know you personally as well. Yeah. And I respect your work. Mr. Danny Axel, my co-host, I respect his work. So I know him personally. I've known him the majority of my life. So there's a comfort level there. Not having that comfort level, knowing someone in person or being able to exchange ideas that way has been difficult when taking on new projects for sure.
So what about Zoom? Everyone's using Zoom. A lot of people, I just discovered Zoom 2 months ago, like 3 months ago maybe, before it was widely used corporately, and professionally. But
yeah, for sure.
I had to use it for an online class, but now everyone's using it. So what are you using Zoom? Besides for right now, are you using Zoom in your creative endeavors?
I'm using it for the radio show. I'll likely go to this. Right now I'm using Life Size, which is similar, but it's browser based, not app based. They have an app, but here's the thing. The struggle, if your computer doesn't have enough RAM, say, or, you're taxing, because when I do the radio show, I use probably about 5 or 6 programs at once in order to do it correctly. And that's a drain on the CPU and the GPU and all of that stuff. So, using something that's browser based isn't taking as much resources for me to do as it would if it's an app. That's why I'm trying to move away from Skype, because it's a notorious resource hog, which drains a lot of RAM while you're using it. And that's not very good when I'm trying to run 5 or 6 programs at once.
Yeah. So we're going to keep this less technical. I know this is a technical Monday, but now let's just talk personally. Sure. Like, say technical aspects aside, which there never are an aside because it affects what you do. Have you used that resource to remotely talk to people, whatever you use, Zoom or whatever? Like, how does it affect, the building of the art when you can't be in front of a person?
It's different, and I think that the process to connect and gel with someone who you might not necessarily know very well already takes a little bit longer. But right now, especially, the concept of time is foreign to people. Like I myself, and I know you as well, and a lot of creators maybe out there have very weird schedules. Whenever you have to get something done, it could be 3 a.m., it could be 4 a.m., it could be 10 in the morning. You're constantly doing stuff. There is no time frame. But right now, it's like I have to look at my calendar to know what day it is, because every day seems to be a Monday or a Saturday. You can't really figure out where you are. So that's been a little bit weird, scheduling and stuff like that. But as far as talking to people, getting to know them, the process is a little bit slower. But I think ultimately it's not that much different. It's just getting comfortable with people, which when you're creating, no one creates in a vacuum. I think I learned that very early on. It's very difficult to create by yourself, because the larger your creation becomes, the more people you need, because there's no person who has every set of skills. You can make yourself as marketable as humanly possible and learn as many skills as humanly possible. But when you don't have other people surrounding you, perhaps you can lose perspective. And I've experienced that myself. So being able to still reach out to people on Zoom has been important to just create and exchange ideas like we've done.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely, dude. And just wanted to say we got a comment from Facebook earlier before the stream from Brian on Facebook. Brian was he's an alumni of the show.
Awesome.
And he was taking his musical perspective, saying he's trying to write something on guitar or vocally as soon as he wakes up every day to quickly tap into the unconscious. Hasn't yielded the sickest results, but I'll keep at it. Hope you guys are surviving well down there. Yeah, thanks for the comment, Brian. And I agree with him. You should kind of wake up and do something productive, whether it's literally go to write something right away or play something. Like you said that we are creatives normally don't have a general clock, depending if whatever your day job is or night job is. But a lot of times, a lot of creatives are freelancers. And word up, man. What's up, Brian?
Even if they have a 9 to 5, they still have their side hustle or their freelance hustle on top of that.
Yeah.
So
like people think I make money from all this creative content we post. I do not. I'm a production dude. I make money doing productions, editing and shooting. And this is the fun stuff we want to make the money from. But God willing, one day, tell your friends. But yeah, Brian, it's definitely, I've been finding that if I at least get up and do a task, like even the dishes or just something to get going. Like people say, make your bed every day. I've not been good at that in my life, but I get the concept of having a sense of order and purpose in your day. And
well, not even that. You start your day
getting something done.
Immediately accomplishing a goal. You feel good.
Yeah.
I know I do.
Yeah. So, I have my own opinion on things, but I've found some other people's opinions, just things you can, maybe it'll help you out. Do a household task, like I just said. Shower. I'm sure a lot of people are showering a lot less right now.
They should be showering a lot more, you would think, but I get
what you're right. But not if you're not leaving your house. If you're in quarantine, I'm sure that a lot of people are, wearing the same sweatpants all the time and kind of lounging. But, to each his own. Make your bed. Make a list. Like, get that list. The night before, I would say, make that list. If you can have that list to accomplish throughout your day and get some momentum behind what you're doing. Get fresh air if you can, right?
I do every day.
I know you like to go for walks. I have not gone for walks, so whatever your opinion on that, we're not going to get like political here in that, but I have a porch I can go out and sit on for a few minutes and write down thoughts and think about some things and clear my mind. Get some fresh air, whether it's standing on a stoop, wherever you are. Open a window, sit by a windowsill and write. I don't know, but get some fresh air, guys.
Yeah, I'm blessed enough to have a river and a bench right across the street from me, so it's not that far.
Very nice.
But I do also runs every morning. So
what part of Jersey are you in again?
I am near MetLife.
Gotcha. All right, so what else? Keep connected with the community. Like, stay connected. This shouldn't be a time where the creative community takes a hit as far as kind of diminishing. Like, stay connected. There's a lot of great resources on Facebook. There's some great Facebook groups that are supporting artists in this time, and I want to thank everybody that's doing that. We're trying to do that. We're always trying to do that. It's part of what we do here, is connecting people and connecting artists to production. And stay connected. Call your friends, especially your creative ones. Kind of workshop ideas. Keep it going, guys, right? Steven, anything else on this that you would say that's helped you?
I've definitely noticed that a lot more creators and a lot more friends and people in that sphere have been reaching out, have been kind of talking to each other and supporting each other's stuff, where normally, we take that for granted, because let's be quite honest, if you're a creative person, you have generally tons of creative friends and people that you work with, and it's impossible. There's not enough time in the day to watch everybody's stuff and work on your own creative endeavors. But I think now people are taking more time to support other people's stuff, whether it be just a share, whether it be a watch, or they're more willing to give you a critique back, send off something to them and be like, hey man, can you just, get back to me with what you think, thoughts on this? Whereas that would normally take a week for me to get some sort of information back. Now it's taking, a day or two, which is reasonable. A week is still reasonable, don't get me wrong, but it's accelerated things because now people, I think people are sleeping less. At least creative people that I've talked to are sleeping less and working more at home. But there are also some people who work more straight-laced jobs, for lack of a better term, they're taking this time working from home and resting as well. Like that extra, they don't have to commute as much. So that's that breath of fresh air. For us and people living in New York City, especially, the hustle and the grind is constant go, 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 go. It's been nice to kind of take a breath. It's been nice to not go on the subway. It's been nice to not have to travel.
Yeah. And, it's like I said, no creative should be bored. Like I said this on last week's stream, I think. This is a great time to catch up on that stuff and to do the things that you said you're going to do, or really hone in on a project. I know, Steven, you've kind of re-sparked your passion for doing your radio show. Not that the passion hasn't been there, but this is a good opportunity for you. This was a good opportunity for us to start this 24/7 stream that we were talking about. You haven't seen it on Facebook the last few days because Restream's having issues with longer than 8-hour videos on Facebook. So we're working through that. But, use this time, take the positive out of it. And, for me, I don't want to, no excuses, right? This is the time. Just shoot it. I put in the picture. Just shoot it. I've always said that. Just shoot it. And so what that means, it's, a lot of, as creatives, we can be in our own head all the time. Like constantly have an idea, constantly be down on our own ideas, not sure about an idea, trying to workshop it with people. You got to just shoot it at some point and then learn from how good it's going to be or how good it becomes. You just got to get out there. Sometimes you hold yourself back, right? Wouldn't you say that, Steve?
There comes a point where you have to stop conceptualizing things and start actualizing things. Take it from a passive thing that you're creating and making it a, forward creation where it has to physically manifest into something. It's a phrase that's used often. Don't overcook it. Sometimes I know I can be guilty of it too on both sides of the coin. Sometimes I'll overcook an idea and wait too long before it comes to fruition, that by the time I get to it, I don't feel the same about it because perhaps I've overproduced it. And then there are some times where I just want to get it out because I'm so excited for it. And I could have taken or should have taken a step back and really thought about, okay, is this the best foot forward for this particular project? So finding that sort of balance, I know for me has been a very rewarding challenge for sure.
Yeah. We got a comment from Brian again. Trying to escape Walgreens.
Trying to escape Walgreens. Is that the new Kurt Russell film? It's New York. It's Escape from Walgreens.
Yingy Yards. Those are some gross but funny comments. Your nose needs some popping too? Okay. Yeah, are you that bored? No, you shouldn't be bored.
Should not be bored, man. If you're bored, that's your fault. That's and we're all guilty of being like, man, I'm bored, man. I need something to do. There's always something to do. Work out, write something, clean your house. You know what I mean? Like, it's very. I know for me, I can only speak for myself and some other creatives that I know. There is a certain ebb and flow emotionally and your personality wise where I know for me, I go through extremes. I could be very manic and very like work. And then there's moments where it's like I'm spent and it's like I don't want to do anything at all. Like it's very hard to get motivated. And when you can't go outside and when you can't interact with people because, empathic people can feed off of other people as well. So I know I can speak for myself where me being around your creative energy or other people's creative energy has emboldened me to do more. It's like where I didn't feel like doing it. It's like, oh man, well, Paul's doing this right now. You know what I mean? Dan's doing this right now. This band's doing this right now. I have no excuse to not be doing anything. Even something as simple as seeing somebody on a bike, riding a bike down the street, for health reasons. I'm like, man, why am I not doing that? I'm literally sitting here right now, like not literally right now, but figuratively right now, not doing anything or playing on my phone or, and you have to leave space for that too. I know for me, I have a lot of trouble sleeping. So I play video games to slow down a little bit and relax. And that's my relaxation. So balance, everything in moderation.
I'm frightened from video games, to be honest, because you do get sucked in, and I've played more video games in the last couple weeks than I have in a long time. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's a lot of fun. Like, I'm cutting it out. The last few days have been better, but late night generally, like, I do my stuff during the day and then I stay up for hours at night playing and then sleep a few terrible hours and then go back and do it all again.
Yeah,
like, and do get my work, and I start at like 11 o'clock. You need your release. I get that. Yeah, everyone needs a release. It's a good outlet. Creative people like video games. I don't know. I was talking to someone about that. You know, there's something to being immersed in a world, like in loving film and loving playing video games. Like creative people, dreamers, however you want to say. There's something about that element of escape. So that's like a pastime that I really understand, I guess.
With the escape thing that you're talking about, I also think that it's a freeing thing, because as creators, we feel like we have control over everything. We have to control this. We have to control that. We have to do this. When you play a video game, you're at the mercy of the math, literally. Like, you're the variable. The human is the variable. The game can only do what it's programmed to do. You as a human is the variable there. The humans in the game.
That's why I prefer open map like open worlds games, because you can create your world.
I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 right now, and it has been fantastic.
It's like the Wild West, right? It's like the Wild West for exploring.
Yeah, absolutely. And what that's done
I haven't played it.
To bring it back to the creative side is it's definitely made me think about, you know, that time period and stories, and like how I can take that sort of grit and apply it to my thing. Like, people, if they didn't do a certain thing, you're dying of dysentery. You're, you know, if you weren't diligent, it's the diligence that game instills in you that I'm trying to take away from that. So even something as simple as video games that you don't realize are teaching you, if you allow yourself to understand that it's trying to teach you a lesson, then it will.
All right. That's the deepest conversation I've ever had about video. I'm with it. It's Grand Theft Auto, but with horses in the Wild Wild West. Thanks, JJ. You know, I got way too addicted to fake gambling on horses. I've never played Grand Theft Auto for my life until 2 weeks ago. And yeah, the gambling on the horses was addicting, and I should probably stop it. But
I definitely play poker. I play poker on Red Dead.
That's funny, man.
Because I'm racing horses the whole time.
So right now we see a lot of artists live streaming. We've been doing this for a while, live streaming, but now it's everyone's on their phones live streaming. There's no venues, so we're all adapting. Like, you know, we've had to adapt in different ways to live our normal lives as much as we possibly can, right, in the setting from home. Now, excuse me. I think it's amazing that people are using the resources. What do you think are other ways people can use resources you have at home to do what you normally do? Like, what are you doing at home? You probably might have answered this before, but is there something you can do nowadays on a Mac and that takes the place of actually doing the thing, going to a venue, in a sense?
You hit the nail on the head. Just being able to watch, not even from a creator standpoint, from a consumer standpoint, I can watch the 24/7 stream and have that and get inspiration from that. There's, you know, my stuff, the things that I do. If you're talking about the live event stuff, I can't do anything about that. So it's forced us to change the way that we're doing television. Which has been very difficult, but I think the challenge is the biggest thing that I'm taking away from all this. And we're all trying to meet a challenge right now. And sometimes we're going to fail. Sometimes we're going to succeed. You know, hopefully the percentage is 60-40 in favor of success to failure. But not being frustrated is the most important. That's the biggest takeaway. Don't get frustrated. We're all frustrated right now, but don't get frustrated in your creative endeavors. I know I'm chomping at the bit to get back.
It's impossible not to get frustrated, dude. You're going to get frustrated with something. The idea is don't let it stop you from continuing, I would say.
For sure.
Like, keep pushing. Deal with the frustration and figure it out. I'm a person that needs to figure something out. If I'm not sure how to do it and work through it, just got to keep going. Like, right? One of the things, Stephen, that brought us together is that you've experienced what it's like to kind of be a DIY creator, right? You know exactly what that's like. The struggle, no matter, forget venues or anything right now, just the life of a creator. Because the setting right now changes things, but it doesn't change really the same concept of you got to get things done no matter what's thrown at you. Because when you're an independent artist, you are your own entrepreneur, you're your own brand, you have to figure it out. You're going to have quarantines, you're going to have crises, you're going to have so much thrown at you, but what are you going to do to keep on going? And the people that keep on going generally get out of it, or if they learn what they want from life out of it. You know what I mean? It at least will bring things in focus. So what was your journey like? And now it's a tough question, but like, your mic's off.
It's hard, especially when you're responsible for it's your baby.
Yeah,
but
that's the hardest thing.
You're responsible for other people as well. Other people start to get involved. They get interested. They start, working with you in some capacity. So balancing those relationships, and it's always hard working with friends because you have to balance, some people are not able to separate business and friendship. If you don't necessarily want to go in a direction that your friend wants to go in, hopefully they don't take that personally. And thankfully, I've been able to, especially now, work with people who understand the difference between the two. But when it's all on you and you feel that it's all on you, because I was running a radio network with, 6 different shows, and I was running it all off of my computer, an internet radio station. So they would send me their live feeds. I had to produce every single show. So it was almost like a 14-hour job of just on the air stuff. My show was 2 hours, and then I had a sports show that was 4 hours, and then everyone else is doing shows, but I wasn't necessarily sitting in. But you have a guy who can't make it for a show. Hey, Steve,
what are you going to do? You're not paying them, right? This is the creative endeavor that everyone signed up for. But
exactly. And it's hard because when you're not able to pay people, I feel like they don't take it seriously sometimes.
For sure.
And you have to you're never going to get paid if you don't take it seriously. You should work like you're getting paid, or you never will.
It's called sweat equity.
Sweat equity, absolutely.
So we got a comment. Thanks for the comment again, Brian. He said, totally, I'm frustrated. I'm barely able to pay for a studio space, and I can't walk into it. But if we don't stay safe, we have no career either. Yeah, it's... now I really do feel like this is the world is shifting. Everyone knows, every major crisis changes something. So Get used to Zoom conferences. Get used to every social media platform having that virtual chat room with multiple people, because that's the new norm. What's up, Vernon Griffith Hondo?
Yeah, when this is all over, quote unquote, we're not going back to the same world that we left. So there's going to be different things for sure.
And I'm not saying this because this is something I literally did 5 years ago to my house. The way you get through these kind of things, like businesses are now going to learn, every industry is going to be changing now to adapt to what if consumers can't go to the store? What's going to happen? We have phones, we have resources, we have the internet. Everyone's going to adapt to be able to do everything from their home. Every business is going to be able to structure themselves to work remotely. I edit for MSNBC. I'm actually wearing the hoodie. But they had 12 remote, not trying to call you guys out at all, but they only had 12 remote laptops at first that could instantly start working, from my understanding, that can start working from home, and network into the work computers at 30 Rock. So now they just sent out now all the editors are getting sent stuff to their house. But the idea is people are going to prepare for how to do things at home. How do you keep your business, or at least from remotely, maybe not exactly from your household or whatever, but that's where the world is changing. So I say this to artists and bands, there are cheap alternatives to get some type of a setup at home that doesn't suck, And I said this last week that I'm working on a video at least to get give audio and video capture card tips. It's still coming. But yeah, you need to figure out whatever you can do. You have your home set up, Steven.
Sure.
I have a crazy setup here I don't expect most people to get. But you don't need that. You have an iPhone, you get a good mic, you have a computer. Get ready to start digitally creating from home, because even when this crisis is over, people are going to get used to this, in the sense the ease, even the consumers, like you said, not wanting to go out. Now this is an option. Oh, I can just watch my friend from home and pay $5 and support them, and then get up and go to the bathroom when I want and eat whatever I want. You know what I mean? Like, and just people are, hopefully it doesn't disconnect us where the world is moving.
$12 for a beer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, at the end of the day, money talks for a lot of people, and if they got to spend money to go support, they rather just support and not spend the money. But even if you support for $10 to go to a venue, you're spending $50 because, well, one drink opened the floodgate, and then I stopped caring about the things I cared about before I walked into the bar, But
to your point, things are going to be different. People are going to be a little bit hesitant to go outside a little bit. And further to the point, you don't need a great setup or a great big setup to create. You need nothing to create but you. You know what I mean? Like, you can go out on the street and dance. That's creating. Like, there's no excuse to not create. But I know that's a double negative. I'm sorry. There's no excuse to just sit there and not do anything that you want to do. You can use your cell phone. You can write. You don't even need, like, maybe you want to write a screenplay. Write a screenplay.
Yep.
What are you waiting for? Stop waiting. Stop sitting around. Stop saying, I'm going to do this next year. I'm going to do this next year. I'm going to do this next year. I did that for a very long time, where, I was in the military and, I enjoyed my time there, but I always wanted to be in radio growing up, but you never think as a kid that you're going to be able to do your dream job, unless you have a lot of positive support and, it's reinforced that way. And it takes time to find. I got to my path in life, or doing my path in life, later in life. Don't wait, because I'm working against the curve. I'm 37 years old, and I'm still working towards something that, a 21-year-old who is now born in the newer era has the advantage of, because remember, we grew up in the pre-internet age and the post-internet age.
Yeah.
So
interesting perspective, right? The end of analog and tape, the beginning of digital and internet. Crazy.
Yeah. Adjusting to it. Whereas, I could give one of my daughters an iPad, and they could easily pick it up and know exactly what they're doing. And, they could easily edit a video, or just they understands it easier than we did, because we didn't have it. I used to have to download pictures on a 56K modem and, dial up internet, where that's something that they take and they can get like that now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a different thing.
I was saying this along the lines of how the world's changing right now, and how the world is currently going to change. Like, we don't know when we're going to go back to normal just socially, when giving a hug and a handshake to someone isn't, like, even when we're clear of the threat, it's still going to be an adjusting period, I'm sure. I don't know how long that's going to take, but every time there's a crisis, something major happens. I was talking to you, I think, pre-show about this, that in production in 2008, when we had that financial crisis, companies were cutting people. You didn't need to have, 3 seasoned vets in a studio on a set, when someone could do it from a laptop, like 3 jobs. Like, control rooms shrunk, a lot of private operations especially, and rates shrunk. So me as a younger kid with a MacBook Pro that I could do different things, I could shoot and edit, I was more valuable than the old timers that had the experience. Not even just old timers, just the people that just did one thing. Like, and because I say old timers because the old school mentality was, if you showed up on set an audio guy one day, and then you showed up the next day as a camera guy, certain directors or some producers won't want, No, you're the audio guy. You know, you were a one-trick pony back in the day. You had to specialize in one thing, because if you did too much, it was thought of that you weren't a specialist at that, you know, when you're doing multiple things.
Because your focus was split. And a lot of that goes down to unions as well, too.
A lot of, but like even in a private studio, you know, where that was the mentality, just it was like kind of an old school mentality. Maybe it's union based. But then now what's happening? You know, people are going to have to figure out how to do this, you know, how to transition into remotely doing stuff. So
there's nothing wrong with knowing more and learning more and having more skills. It's just, you can't do one thing now you can't just do one thing. It's not going to happen.
I see one mention of union. I don't even know if Danny Milano was watching the stream. He heard union through the airwaves. Me say the word union.
He's a big union guy.
So, he's a big union guy. You know, you've been in a union for like 2 years now, Dan. Solidarity, baby. I was going to prepare something talking about how I've been creative from home. Here, I'll cut to me for this one. So how I've been creative, I guess I haven't really talked. I've been asking more questions. We've been transitioning our content to kind of like we're saying, to transitioning the content to be live and to remote our crew, and like we're doing exactly right now. What's up, Danny? Thank you for watching, brother.
Love you, man.
It's going to, and Brian, teleconferencing is going to evolve in leaps probably. Holograms and shit, absolutely. I was thinking the same thing. Holograms are coming sooner rather than later. Like, you know.
I want a hologram. That's a life goal. If I can
and they already exist. They definitely already exist, but it's going to be more. Union Pride. Oh, we struck a union chord on the stream right now. JJ, what's up, JJ? Union Pride. Love you guys, bro. Love you too, Dan. Steve, what was I saying? I'm getting distracted.
When I know.
Oh, transitioning the content. So yeah, so I'm getting. So you know, you said keep going. I've been getting on myself for not doing every little thing I wanted to do because I'm adjusting, and I've spent a little too long adjusting, kind of to the time. Like a lot of the things we're saying in the stream is preaching to myself, you know. So, but by setting up the 24/7 stream, by live streaming every day and zooming people in, that's a learning process. I'm over those learning bumps, and now it's back into life as normal. Now that you set up your infrastructure to continue doing what you do. So adjust to the time, set up your infrastructure, however that's going to look, and then continue to do what you love to doing. Love you too, JJ. Yeah, Steve, what were you saying? I cut you off.
Just to your point, just being able to adapt to the times, for example, with Danny Milano doing cooking in Brooklyn, they can't, Dave and Danny can't come to the house anymore and cook and do the show the way that it's intended. So you guys had to come up with a way to change it. So now you're quote unquote cooking and Danny is teaching you. I mean, you're burning down the house as we saw.
Yeah, guys. So we do a cooking show here called Cooking in Brooklyn. And, I want to pull in a clip if I can. Might take a second. But instead of the whole
and set it up for you.
I actually was preparing it and I completely forgot about it. So we do a cooking show called Cooking in Brooklyn. It's normally not live. We decided to do it live because we had the hosts zoom in, the two hosts, and they taught me how to cook. Instead of Danny cooking and giving a recipe, he taught me live how to cook chicken franchise, and I nearly burned the house down.
One of my favorite dishes.
Honestly, I didn't realize how simple it was to make. It's pretty awesome. Wait, can you actually pull it up and screen share it?
Me?
No, I thought you said you were trying to pull it up.
Oh, no, I was trying to stall for time. I was trying to set up the clip. So,
gotcha. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I was trying to do a bit where I would, setting up the clip, kind of like Johnny Carson. The ultimate, that's another goal of mine, is to have a late night show like Carson or Letterman, because I was a big late night guy, but that is such a daunting task and you need so many other people on board. That and you need the space and the ability to do it. And that's very, very difficult to do. You just have to find people who believe. When you're the top guy, you have to find people who buy into you. Your personal brand, who you are as a human being. I know you, myself, and a lot of other people are leaders in that regard, where people look to us, and this isn't like an ego thing. It's people look to us to push them in a direction. They might not necessarily know where to go. Help them with our experience, and a lot of people, even just being involved in the Bridgeside Network, I've learned things from people, or I've learned how to handle certain situations, seeing certain situations happen, like tech issues happening, managing
the never-ending tech issues.
It's never going to end. The only solution to tech issues is money, and even that, and even
Speaking
that,
as someone who likes to spend all his money on gear, it's not always.
I'm at the point I'm trying so hard not to, but it's becoming necessary because I've had issues with certain programs that I'm using not being able to use my camera effectively. Because right now I'm just using a USB webcam. It's a Logitech. I can't remember the model number right now, but it's in 1080p, and I'm using a mini Mac right now. When it's just audio, my computer has the capability to do it no problem, very easily, but I like to add. At one point I had We're saying 1 second. I think his battery died. So I'm going to keep talking to you guys. Something went wrong. Paul's battery died. He's using a wireless lavalier mic, which takes AA batteries. And if you are not Johnny on the spot with those can drain very fast. And as we saw, they drained immediately. That's a lot of small things that people don't consider in bigger operations. And that's something that Paul is almost always on top of. It's the little things like that. It's like, does the lab have fresh batteries? Is this set up? Is that set up? That's why when you have a bigger production and you have a team of people, being able to lead them is very important. Having everyone know, what to do. Blew your eardrums out. Sorry, Jay. We can't hear you, and it sounds like we're in a storm. Can you hear me, though, guys? Hopefully I'm okay, and it was just Paul's microphone. Hopefully we're still moving. And again, so I'm going to use this time to throw a plug out there. Make sure you go to twitch.tv/HM Radio to catch my radio show with Mr. Danny Axel, my co-host, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's a very adult program. No holds barred. Today we covered Tiger King. I watched the very first episode, so each show I'm going to review an episode at a time, so no spoilers. That show is pretty crazy. We also talk news of the day and stuff like that. So if you're a fan of Opie and Anthony, if you're a fan of Ron and Fez and shows like that in the old NEW days, you'll love Hivemind Radio. Twitch.tv/HM Radio. And Capital Wrestling, Capital with an O, Capital Wrestling. I'm the play-by-play voice. Make sure you check it out. If you like professional wrestling, come check it out. Hopefully Paul's back by now because I'm
back. Sorry, that was completely my fault because I risked it because I've been plowing through batteries and I didn't want to order new ones, and I had 2 out of 3 bars and that went real quick. Sorry.
It get a million times better. That's all I'm saying. What gets better? I'm very confused, JJ.
All right.
I'm seeing the comments.
Yeah, no worries. So I teased this before. Probably lost a few people due to that static. But I'm going to play out the clip.
Oh, yeah.
So this is how I stay creative at home. I get my friends to zoom in, the ones that work with me on these shows, and we figure it out. So the way we figured out this show is that Danny teaches me how to cook, and this is what happens. It's boiling.
It's boiling? Good. Shut it off.
Can you hear me okay on there, Steve?
Yeah, I can hear you, bud.
The stream
Huh? I'm sorry, I got my phone.
or the video?
What'd you say?
Yeah, I hear it.
Who has a house phone still?
Somebody's house phone's going off. This was great.
Look, you see the box within the box. It looks
All right,
terrible.
shut it off. All right, now, I don't know what's better for people to see because I don't. Yeah,
Guess I can put this full screen.
I don't know what they're seeing on the internet because I can't only see you right now.
They see
I
exactly
can't even
what
see
you
the
see.
dishes.
I like how immediately you got flour or
That's
something.
bad news, man.
He's
Because I
blind.
can't see nothing. I'm
Immediately.
also blind, so
As Francesca commented a little earlier.
what? That I'm blind?
All right, Dan. Yeah.
You gotta love her. Thanks.
I put this full
Thanks a
screen.
lot. All right, so Paul,
see it.
throw that butter in the pan.
Don't turn the pan
I like
on.
how Dave is
Yeah,
eating
throw
during.
the butter in first.
That's a nice amount of butter right
Yeah.
there.
Throw the butter in. That's what I was saying before. I can't see. Shelly, don't kill me here, Shelly. I can't
Am I putting this on, Dan? Dan, put the flame on.
Put the butter and the flame on. Put
Here it is.
the butter and the flame on.
And there it goes.
After my last score. I don't even notice it.
Nah, I'm only joking with you. Oh, that's Paul. The paper's on fire.
That's what it looks like, right? Oh, it is on fire.
Jesus Lord, it's gonna burn the house down.
Oh my
It's
God.
on fire.
Oh,
You have a fire extinguisher on set?
Yeah.
Shelly goes fire.
Fire Marshal Bill. I spent.
Oh my
He
God.
ran
Paul, you gotta
away.
be careful of that.
That was funny.
Watch out,
Yeah.
Paul.
Oh,
Chewing right now.
he comes back with a.
Here you go, buddy. That's why we're union over here.
All right.
And a union.
All right.
And
The
you get-
union. There he is. Yeah, man. That was crazy. Yeah. So that almost happened. I didn't even notice it until Danny yelled it out. So that's how I'm staying creative. I'm trying not to burn the house down, and yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, just the fact that
But it tasted
you've had
good.
to change. You've had to change the way that each show works. Like Pick'em has changed. This has changed. Brooklyn Versus, which we'll be doing at some point in the near future, hopefully, will change. The nature of what's going on in the world has made us have to adapt. And if you don't adapt, you die. And I'm not talking about literal death. I'm talking about a creative death. Your
Yeah, a
brand.
little insensitive right now, man. No, I'm just kidding.
You meant what I know.
I meant what
Yeah.
I didn't mean to
confused
cut
you.
you off. I'm just trying to cut to you. There you go.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was done with
So-
my thought.
All right, very good. So you're also doing this thing called the Brackets podcast, which I found pretty cool. You want to
Yeah,
say something about that?
Yeah, I figure, most people like tournaments. Most people like deciding what the best thing is. There's always an argument. Oh, who's the greatest basketball player of all time? What's the greatest pizza place? All that. So I'm setting up March Madness tournament style of 64 type of thing. So we did the first round of the Brackets podcast, greatest movies of all time. And I know for you had some issues with it. It's designed to make people interact because everyone has an opinion on certain things. You had an opinion instantly when it was, I had Mr. Rob D of August on Sunday, my good friend Roberto, who I believe his Twitch stream is twitch.tv/jinx1492. And Sean Greeny, who also appears on that as well. You took issue with him voting Poltergeist over Star Wars Episode 4. We know you're
people are entitled to whatever their opinion is, but the argument against Star Wars was just horrible. The way he just shot down Star Wars as being a credible movie was horrible.
And that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of reaction that when you do these
Of course.
tournaments, you hit something, you get that reaction.
Absolutely.
That's what you're getting out of people.
Well, I think it was really fun. You guys should check out the Brackets podcast and Hivemind Radio. Steve, when's Hivemind again?
The next episode will be on Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 11. It's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. to 11. There is the video version of it on Twitch, twitch.tv/hmradio.com. And there is also the audio-only version, which you can get the phone app as well. It is hmradio.listen, the number 2, myradio.com as well. The .com is coming. The official HivemindRadio.com is coming. It is being built out as we speak, and hopefully there will be an app in the very, very near future. So stay tuned for all that.
Awesome, man. Any final thoughts, tips for people? Guys, hopefully you're creating something good. If you didn't make it to the stream tonight, send us some comments. Anytime you can send us some comments, workshop stuff with us. We're here to build that creative community and keep it going. And now is as good a time as any. And that's kind of the moral of this whole stream is quarantine you should take the most out of it as far as using your time for your creative endeavors. Like, it's not the worst time to figure the stuff out and to really hone in on stuff you've been trying to do. You just got to adjust. And that's, if you need help adjusting, if you have some tech advice you need, or you need some help with getting stuff done, if you want to throw us some ideas, some workshops, some stuff, we're here. I know some people have hit me up for tech questions and hit me up to just bounce a video off of me just to see what I thought. And I don't even know these people, but we're here for you guys. So be part of the community.
We all know each other in the creative space for sure. A lot of us are very similar or have very similar personalities with some things. I would suggest this during this time. It is especially important to be collaborative. Be collaborative, because right now everyone could use somebody else. While the physical disconnect is there, don't let the physical disconnect you from being connected to people, especially in the.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Couldn't said it any better than myself, Steven. Steven, I want to thank you for joining the stream.
Always.
We're going to come back. Steven, you want to tease a little bit what we're doing for Brooklyn Versus?
Oh, okay. Brooklyn Versus, we're still trying to figure out what the time frame is going to be, but it's coming very soon. Our very first argument is going to be, is it acceptable to pee in your shower? In the shower. I have a lot of views on this, and there's no way I'm telling you right now what they are, because you're going to have to tune in to find out exactly what it is. There will be a winner. Someone will be verified. Their views will be validated on Brooklyn Versus, because the best argument wins. And as you saw in season 1 with me, I am the best arguer. No one can. And I will continue my dominance on Brooklyn Versus. I'm coming for you, Chris, and I'm coming for you, other Chris. Which one is Chris and which one's other Chris? Let's let that stick in their brain so they can figure that out.
Boom. Lay down the hammer. Yes, Brooklyn Versus is a show we do where the best argument wins. It's a lifestyle and pop culture debate game show. So we pit two people against each other, challengers, and they have to give their case for lifestyle and pop culture issues. 30-second arguments, a rebuttal. It's fun, guys. So check it out. We're going more lifestyle this season. We're going to do general things like we said, peeing in the shower, because it's very controversial for some people.
What are some other
Does
ones?
Kyle piss in my shower? I don't know, Danny. You know what? Maybe he'll come on the stream and tell us the truth. We'll find out. Stay tuned for that. What were you saying, Steve?
I was saying some of the other topics that are being thrown around right now that maybe you guys can start thinking about what your opinions are, because we love to hear from you as far as what your side of the argument is. We like when it's interactive, when you guys say, oh, well, I agree with Steven, or I agree with Steven, or I agree with Steven. Mac versus PC we're going to do. I know it's been talked about Coke versus Pepsi. There's a lot of different ones that are, brewing around. So if you have one that you think would make a good argument, make sure to let us know. What are you passionate about? And who knows? If you're so passionate about your argument and you send in a video as to why you're so passionate, it might make the show. You might make the show. Who knows? We're in a brand new world right now. We want to
love it, Steve. We want to hear from you guys, as Steven said. Steve, thank you for coming on the stream, guys. I hope throughout this whole talk and conversation and stream with everyone that you got some value out of it. On this channel, we want to just give you inspiration. We want to give you some tips. We want to show you what a strong community of people looks like in the creative space. And we'll keep it going, guys. I'll be back next Monday at 7 o'clock with a topic to be determined. So again, if you have something you want to hear, we'll completely put it on you guys. Whatever you guys want to hear, we will get to on 7 o'clock on Mondays. So I'll put a list down. Tell me some topics, some tech topics, creative topics. If you are a person in a space that you believe you have direct insight into and want to be on the show, perhaps I can Zoom you in. So let us know. Steven, thank you again for the third time. I'm going to throw it to tomorrow real quick. Tomorrow, we're still back with Bridgeside Live, our music concert series. It's not going to be in the studio in my garage anymore until things get settled down. But we're having Tyler Plazio, an alumni. He's in England right now. I don't know his whole story, but we're going to find out the story of why he's there, what's going on in his life, and he's going to Zoom in for a live performance tomorrow at 7 p.m. as well. Eastern time, not London time. And we'll see you then, guys. See you on the Bridgeside.